So Firas Zahabi, a lot to talk to you about. I want to start with Kevin Lee, though. I saw, we're here at Tristar. It's second week or so. I saw you guys working pretty closely over there. Just what's the vibes like with Kevin so far, having him here for the first few weeks?
Oh, I love having him here, man. He's a lot of fun. He's a hard worker. He's a disciplined guy. We're getting along really well and getting ready for his fight.
Yeah. Why did he feel it was a good fit here, and why is he someone that you felt would work in this gym?
I think it's a good place for him because we have a lot of people to work with. You have a lot of wrestlers, a lot of strikers. Definitely, we've prepared a lot of fighters for UFC, so we have a coaching staff that's very seasoned. And I think just his style fits our style, and I think this is one of many training camps.
Yeah, interesting. Do you want to see him back at welterweight or lightweight? I know he is kind of in flux of making that decision.
I think that's really up to him. He has to see how his body feels, So we'll have to wait and see. I think he's explored welterweight. He's going back to lightweight. He's gonna know a lot about his body after this fight. Where he feels better. Because he's gonna get a chance to contrast both weight classes. And maybe he's doing both. Who knows?
Where do you feel you can help him grow? I mean, I think from day one, you've noticed he's such a monster on the ground. If he gets on top of you, gets your back, he's really difficult to get off or avoid being put away. But how do you feel you can round him out and bring him to the next level?
I feel here we try to improve everywhere. Wrestling, striking, jiu-jitsu, and I feel like we can help him everywhere, even in conditioning, even in style, how he holds how his style is, and everywhere really. Grappling, wrestling, jiu-jitsu. This is a place to get better in every direction.
Yeah, speaking of new people, and I don't know exactly how this is going to work, but Tyron Woodley has said that he has kind of formed a bit of a relationship with you, and he wants to come up here and train with Rory and George. How did that come about? How did Tyron get in your radar? Did he contact you, or how did that all come up?
We worked out together at a UFC event, so we're both together at a UFC event. We both wanted to work out. We ended up training together. First time was in Vegas. And we hit it off. We had a great time. I trained with him, Duke, and the guys. We hit it off. We had a great time. Then we trained again in Edmonton, and we hit it off again. We had a great chemistry going. So we're like, look, let's keep it going. And I look forward to his visit.
Yeah. Do you know when he's coming up here yet?
Not yet. He's super busy. I like to stay in the gym as much as possible. So I'm ready when he's ready.
Yeah. So did he give you an idea? Is he wanting to come up? Will he still off camp, or is he wanting to come do a training camp here?
I'm not sure, honestly. I know he's a very busy guy, so we're just waiting on him.
Yeah, and interesting enough, he's obviously fought Rory back a few years ago. He talked about fighting George, but it seems like he's accepted that that's never going to happen now. How do you see the three of them meshing together?
I think we're going to get along well. Everybody here has a nice attitude. When we come in here, it's about getting better, improving. If you have a fight, everybody rallies around you to help you get ready for your fight. So if Rory's fighting, I expect Tyron and George to help him get ready for the fight and push him forward. If Tyron is fighting, we're going to rally around him to push him to win his fight. That's the way it is. Everybody gets that support and that extra, whatever the guy who's fighting needs, that's what we take care of, that's what we do. So it won't be a competitive thing. It's going to be something where we're going to be all rowing in the same direction.
I know, last question on Tyron, but I know it's always a journey of getting better and improving as a martial artist. But when you see someone like him, who I think he's 36 years old, he's post-title reign, looking to get that back, what do you look at that you can help someone like that? And what does it say to you that he's maybe searching out something new at this stage in his career?
Well, when you're a champion for a long time, people are getting to know your style. So I think what happens is that everybody's always watching the number one guy, the champion, so they start figuring him out because nobody's watching that. Not as many people are watching the guy number 10 or number 15 or number 4. They're all watching the number one guy. So the number one guy has to keep reinventing himself. So with Tyron, we're going to try to add a new wrinkle that nobody knows. So when he goes back in there, he'll be at the same level, of course, but he'll have new tricks in his bag, new surprises for his opponents, things that he's comfortable doing that'll work, and they're going to have to figure him out on fight night, not before fight night, because he's going to be, having a new wrinkle, a new dimension to his game.
Interesting. I mentioned Rory a bit there. He's coming up pretty soon to this tournament final. $1 million on the line, another belt on the line, and everything. Just talk a little bit about how his prep is going, and obviously fighting Douglas Lima again after that very hard first fight.
Yeah, it's an interesting fight because they already fought each other before, and the last fight was so close. It came down to one round, and Rory really shined in round 5. I'm expecting a very tough fight, very tough battle, but because they know each other so well, they're both going to go in there with a different strategy. At least we are. So I think it's going to be also it's going to be a competitive fight, but also a different fight.
What are the dynamics of that? Because I feel like something with George St. Pierre's career, like he fought guys multiple times. Whether he won the first fight or lost it, the second fight he just absolutely shined and looked so good. What do you as something as a coaching staff, as when you're working with a fighter, what do you try to instill in them going from fighting a guy the first time to the second time?
For sure, before you fight a guy like Lima, you know what he does, but you don't know the chemistry, how his chemistry is going to be with Rory. Now we kind of saw what their chemistry is like, because the truth of the matter is, styles is a major component of MMA, more than any other combat sport. Because boxing, yeah, style matters, but it's still boxing. There's not as many possibilities for change. Whereas MMA, there's so many things that could be different. You can elbow, you can knee, you can kick, you can do so many submissions, different styles of takedowns. There are more possibilities. So now that we know how their chemistry is like, we're going to explore different possibilities.
And did this timeline make sense for you, for Rory? I know he seemingly wanted a little bit more time, especially doing the back-to-back fights. But now that he's in camp and everything, are you seeing him in the groove? Do you like where he's at right now?
I like where he's at, but the thing is, to be honest with you, he just had a baby, so it was a tight timeline. I really appreciated Bellator gave him more time. They wanted him in September. And I feel like they did what they could. I'm really happy with Scott Coker. I find I don't know him personally, but just from seeing how he treats the fighters, I have a lot of respect for him. He understands, we understand there's a business side, but there's also a human side. He had a baby very, very recently, Rory. And when you have a newborn, it's tough to be in training camp. He's paying the sacrifice, he's doing what he's got to do, and they gave him an extra a month, which I thought was huge from Bellator. We respect Bellator. We know it's business. We know the fans want to see the fight, and it has to happen soon. It was tough for Rory to fight back-to-back and then have a baby. I'm really happy they gave him some breathing room. I thought it showed a lot of heart from Bellator. They show the value of the fighter.
I know it's kind of like a cliche question at this point, but when fighters have children and stuff, some of them talk about a change in mentality. Rory's obviously being there. This is the second one. But do you see anything different coming off him having the birth of a second child, which I'm sure brings even more motivation, all that kind of stuff?
This time I see more motivation in him. He has to be more motivated now, because it's $1 million on the line. He can set his family for life. I think this is the way he's going to look at it.
That's so interesting, and assuming he does win this, you get the $1 million. Like a lot of these fighters get in this because that's how they make money and all these kind of things, and that's going to help him out. I'm sure he's made good money already, but even more so. Do you worry about loss of motivation some kind, or maybe not having the big goals? Like he would be the champion, the tournament champion. Does that maybe impact his mindset a bit?
If $1 million doesn't motivate you, I don't know what's going to motivate.
After the fact, if he has that money in the bank, is that going to change him a bit, going forward?
After the fact, maybe we'll have to wait and see. But right now, listen, look, $1 million is a lot of money, but it's also not that much money. After the taxes, after you're not living forever with that. So I find there's room for more. If it was $100 million, it would probably be his last fight. He would probably win that one and retire. Who knows? But it's $1 million. So it's great money. It's amazing money, but it's not retirement and I can do what I want for life money and I never have to fight again money. And don't forget, Rory also loves fighting. So I feel like even if he retired, let's say he won $1 million and retired, I feel like personally he's going to come back, even if he doesn't need the money. That's just how I feel. That's where he's at. He's going to miss fighting if he ever hangs it up. In my opinion, he has a lot more fight left in him. The last fight, people were like, "Did he just retire?" Before the Neiman fight, people were like, "Oh, he just retired." That's not what he said. Fighters are emotional after a fight. And some of them do retire for real. I agree, it does happen, but it also swings the other way, you start feeling like you want to go back in. George at one point retired, he wasn't sure, and he came back to win the world title. So I never count them out. Personally, I never count them out.